Thanks for joining us today. How are you coping with lockdown?
Good man, alright. I'm doing alright. A bit jittery now, sorry about that. Miss hanging out with people, like kind of it's starved of people, need people. Don't know where they are. They're all gone. Probably getting into some bad habits as well. Staying up a bit late. Meals are kind of all over the place. You know the crack, and
Oh,
loving
yeah.
the pot noodles.
Hi there, bookworm Matt. How are you?
Oh, it's hot.
Hi, people. It's you.
Ah, another person. How
Come
cool.
with
What's the
me.
story?
Come
Any
sit down. I
crack?
can't hear you. Sorry, he's gone. He's gone. No, he's back. Still, no sound. You need to unmute, man. Unmute.
Oh. Ah, people everywhere. Just made my day. I have so much to say. Don't know where to start. How about
Just mute that man. He talks a bit too much at the best of times.
what are you reading? Oh, I'm reading surf science. I'm trying to learn about the meteorological and environmental intricacies of board riding.
Waste of time, man. You just have to give it a go.
Oh no, don't go. I haven't asked even I haven't even asked the question yet. Where are you going? Believe it or not, there is such a thing known as Zoom fatigue. There is something about digital communications that drains your energy. It amplifies a longing, in me anyway, for something deeper. I'm fed up with talking loudly across the fence with neighbours, shouting across the street to passers-by. I need something more. When the virus has subsided and we're told it's safe to do so, there'll be a whole lot of huggers out there who will embrace random strangers just because they can. We are all tired of being treated like lepers, as if we're carrying this disease, and everyone needs to be avoided. And it can be hard not to take that personally. We have been made for social closeness, not physical distancing. We have been designed for community, up close and personal. A shake of the hand, a man hug, a fist bump are all more important than we ever realized. Who knew that full communication requires face-to-face recognition and expressions? We were made to enjoy one another and affirm one another. And let's continue after this lockdown, the amazing signs of community spirit that are emerging from this crisis. Let's build on the generosity that has been growing in our community, and let's multiply the care for the vulnerable way beyond this lockdown. And let's continue to show appreciation for all those who diligently serve us, those in the front line and the service industry. We have an opportunity to rebuild a better society from now on. But how? How can we prevent society from reverting to type? How can we avoid having the usual cliques and leaving many on the fringes alone? I'm going to suggest the answer comes at the very beginning of the Bible. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, this is what God says. Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness. Here is one of the early clues of God in three persons. The very origin of community lies in the makeup of God himself, in the Trinity. God has stamped humanity to reflect God. So we crave community because we were built that way. We were made to interact with others. There's a beautiful blessing later on in the book of Numbers that God gives it helps us see something of the heart of God and the way he wants to interact with us. And it reflects community. It's beautiful. Let me read it. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. See, the blessing of God in its brilliant essence is face-to-face contact with the living God. Community starts and flows from God himself. You see, God is the self-giving God. The Father gave his Son on a dangerous rescue mission. Jesus, the Son, willingly volunteered to lay down his life for us. And the Spirit comes to indwell all who believe in him. Everything about the Godhead is selfless. As John says, God is love. The ground zero for building community is love and is God himself. Let God smash the barriers to community. There's a reference in Ephesians where the Apostle Paul is speaking about this hostility between two groups of people, the Jews and the Gentiles. And this is what he says. Now in Christ Jesus, you who were once far away have been brought near by the blood of Christ. For he himself is our peace, who has made the two groups one and has destroyed the barrier, the dividing wall of hostility. See, the barrier separating us today that we're painfully aware of is this social distancing. But it's worse than that. There's other barriers there. And there's a barrier of selfishness that destroys community spirit and fragments society. You see, God's purpose in sending Jesus was to not only break down the walls of hostility vertically between us and God, but also to smash down the barricades horizontally between us and each other. We feel the warmth of God's smile when we accept his forgiveness and seek his help to change. When each of us grasp the Father's heart of longing to the Father, because the Father longs to enjoy knowing us. The Son's love overwhelms us. When we grasp that, it's magical. And the Spirit's power to change our hearts to love like God. When that begins to happen in our lives, community builds organically. See, love-centered Christian community is a beautiful, inspiring thing. There is no place for superiority. There is no boasting except in the greatness of God and the wonder at his amazing grace. The big plot line of the Bible is about the rediscovery of community around the King. One day he will make everything new. May I encourage you not to give up on connecting through any digital means at your disposal during this crisis, but may it, more than anything, encourage us to crave real, genuine community built upon the selfless love of God. I'm Matt Tuttleby, your host today from Fundora Bible Reflections.